Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. In this video, I want to take some time to talk about something that I have observed in the comic book community for the last couple of years. And over this time, I have created videos on this topic, but the videos I think have only addressed the symptoms that I'm seeing and not necessarily the root cause. And so I'm hoping to get to the root cause of this today in this video. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I want to encourage you to do so now, because the channel's mission is to help you to make sense of comic book collecting. So tap the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and that way you won't miss out on any of the content that comes out from the channel. But getting to the heart of this video, I want to talk about the false dilemmas. The false dilemmas that I see out there in the comic book community. And if you are not familiar with this term false dilemma, it essentially boils down to this or that, the best or the worst, the favorite or the least favorite of them all. And we hear this verbalized in the community all the time. Tell me which is the best between CGC or CBCS. Tell me which is the best character of all time, Spider-Man or Batman, Flash or some other character. There are always these different scenarios that people create where it is either this thing or this other thing. Now, the challenge with this is it's too many things, right? Like, first of all, there is no best. There is no such thing as the best, because the best is an absolute thing. There is no best. There is no first. So that's like really important. The other thing is that by pitting this thing against that thing, you are essentially saying that one is right and one is wrong. Rarely is that the case, especially when you factor in someone's situation may be different from your situation. And so with additional context, what you might realize is that both options are actually correct. But by creating these false dilemmas, people are essentially creating conflict. Now, I'm not afraid of conflict. In fact, I think that conflict, if done correctly, can actually be a beneficial thing. Through conflict, you actually have breakthrough thinking, you have creative thinking, you have problem solving and innovation if both parties are willing to collaborate and work through their differences. Oftentimes what gets created is neither this nor that, it is this other thing. And sometimes it's a little bit in the middle of those opposing forces. But when you have people that become so entrenched in this is the best, this is the only way, it is always this, that does not allow for breakthrough thinking. It does not allow for an alternative perspective. Rarely is something this or that. Oftentimes, the answer is something maybe that you haven't even considered. But if you're so entrenched in your belief and unable to consider that someone else's point of view and perspective is also right, then that means that you're not considering other possibilities. You're not considering the fact that you could be wrong. You're not considering the fact that maybe someone else is right. We see this play out with things like the first appearance. Is the first appearance of Wolverine Hulk 180 or 181? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care. I don't care in any way, shape, or form. You know why? I own both. I own multiple copies of both because things may change. At one point, Hulk 180 was the first appearance. Over time, it became 181. It may continue to change in the future. I honestly don't know which way the wind is going to blow. And at the end of the day, it matters not. Wolverine is a dope character. And if you have either one or both of the books, celebrate that, right? Instead of creating division amongst ourselves, I think we have to recognize that we all love comics and we should celebrate that. Now, that doesn't mean that we should not have healthy and fun debates. But when people who are so entrenched in their position cannot open their mind to the fact that someone else could be right, or that an alternative option could also be correct, then that creates unhealthy conflict that oftentimes goes nowhere. It leads to angst and anger and division and results in nothing. Nothing at all. I was recently listening to something on YouTube, and this guy was talking about the infinite game. And in this conversation, he made mention, and I should also say that Josh told me about this guy. The guy made mention of talking to people at Microsoft and Apple. And when he talked to the people at Microsoft, they were so focused on beating Apple that they were not considering anything else. It is either Microsoft or Apple, and as Microsoft, it has to be us. We have to beat Apple. When you talk to the Apple people, you know what they're focused on? It's not Microsoft. They are focused on making better products. They are focused on their customer. They are focused on how can they as a company be better than they were before. And by being focused on themselves and what's important and being constructive in what they're doing, potentially one could argue that they ultimately won. They beat Microsoft because Microsoft was focused on the wrong thing. So instead of having these silly conversations about what's the true first appearance and my character is better than your character, or which is best, CGC or CBCS, or which pricing guide is the best, focus on your collection. Focus on doing things that make you happy. Focus on those things that really matter to you. Focus on the community. Focus on the fact that we are all in a wonderful time right now of buying comics, values going up, TV shows are coming out, streaming services are coming out, more and more comic book properties are being optioned. The amount of creative content that is coming out of this sector of the market is amazing. The indies, amazing. Let's focus on those positive things instead of my character is better than yours.